I held one of these leaves in my hand, and it was not like this. And you can see the dots that are in there. And that was my first toxic rain video. A lot of the trees here are definitely browner than they usually are, and that could be from the acid in the ground. I'm Edwin. I'm a musician, singer-songwriter, a concerned citizen. The bees don't find anything to eat. They're pollinating flowers that are dead on the top. So that's darker on top than it is on the... Well, I took a glass and put it out in the rain, and I got yellow rainwater. We took some of the water away because it's much smaller now. But we're now on our way to the Umweltdienst in Krefeld, or the German equivalence of the EPA for the city of Krefeld. And this area is where I first noticed the leaves changing. We're walking by now, and you can give a quick glance over here at the leaves again, and the burnt stuff here. And we noticed in the street that there was oil, very much mass of oil in the street, rainbow water running into the gutters. And so we stuck the glass out, and early in the morning, and 45 minutes after we stuck the glass out, I looked in the glass, and there was yellow water with black particles in it. And a few days later, I called the Umweltbundesamt in Berlin, and also the city of Krefeld's, what do they call it? Actually, it's the Umweltdienst, I think. The woman that I talked to treated me very funny. She spoke to me in like kind of way, and she told me she'd call me back. While I was talking to this woman, because I called the Umweltbundesamt, Deutsch is a hard language. I called them before her, and they told me to call her, and so I did this. And but they told me that they would contact me later in the day. And several minutes later, while I was talking to the woman in Krefeld, the city of Krefeld, Dr. Klaus Vott called me back, and we were talking about the rain, and we also talked about the Gulf of Mexico and about the Gulf Stream, and how also about core exit 9500. And he agreed with me on many things about my theories of why the leaves are looking like they're burnt, because there are here in the leaf I just picked up, you can see the brown substance. I don't know if I'm close enough to the camera, but the leaves there's lots of leaves on the trees that are dying. The leaves and the grass all has burns in it, and I believe that it's raining oil in many places in the world, and people aren't aware of this. And I think it's important that we do something about that, and that's why I contacted Mike here and said, hey, no one's paying attention to what I've said, but we'll show you the glass that I have.
Okay, and then you said on the 28th you also called Berlin.
Yes, before I called her.
Before you called her?
Yes.
And they called you back?
While I was talking to her, several minutes after I got off the phone with calling them. Yeah.
And this doctor, you said his name was?
Dr. Klaus Vott.
And what can you paraphrase what you told him?
Well, basically, I thought about the leaves and the yellow rain, and I also was looking at some videos about core exit, and I noticed that the color of the water was identical to the color of the chemical core exit. There's no, when you see the water for yourself, you'll see this, that it's the same shade, and I can show you the video as well, where the core exit is being used, and because there's a doctor that is showing what core exit does, and he puts oil into a beaker, and then he puts core exit into the beaker with the oil, and you see how the oil disperses and breaks into very fine particles, and so it's easier for them to clean it up. But
now the doctor, what was his response?
At first he was a little, and then I talked to him about vapor and how fast vapor moves in the air, and I mean, if you can feel the wind now, it's very fast. I couldn't tell you how fast it's moving because I'm not a tachometer. I forget what they used to measure the wind. But wind moves really fast, and at different altitudes it's moving at different speeds. And when you think about the sun and what the sun does with water, it makes water evaporate. And what core exit does when it contacts water, it makes it combines with water, and then when the sun is out, then this water goes up into the air as a vapor. And this vapor is definitely moving around, and then it comes down in rain. And there are reports that I've seen in Canada, in Texas, in Louisiana, Florida, Iowa. They all have the same problem with their grass and their plants. And it rains, and then the plants die, and it's happening here too. There's no question in my mind about it. You know, it's definitely, I'm noticing it, and it's disturbing.
So did the doctor ask you to send him anything?
No, but he did say he wanted to see the pictures and was interested to know the results from the samples of water. Okay. And I told him that I did talk to this woman, and that she said she'd call me back. I sent him an email. Look, and there's nothing there. And then they go further. Normally the bees have like pollen all over them, and I don't see anything on them. They look really, really clean. Every one of the bees looks really clean. Normally they have stuff all over them, if you look really closely at them. They look like they're just born.